So yesterday I posted a video about the censorship in the European Union. Censorship that was pushed by unelected leaders. And a lot of Europeans got a little bit upset at me and asked, hey, why are you sticking your nose into EU issues? Of course our leaders are elected. Well, I'll skip the insults because there were plenty. But here's the reality. I've lived in 8 European countries over the last 37 years. I've advised governments, politicians, parties, and I've worked inside the system. So this isn't me sticking my nose in. This was my life. Now, I'll explain very simply how the EU government actually works. There are 3 bodies that matter. First, the European Parliament, 720 members, elected by citizens of each EU nation. Sounds democratic so far, right? Well, here's the problem. Parliament can't propose laws. Zero, none. Second, you have the European Commission. They're not elected, they're appointed. And the Commission writes every EU law, every single one. Third, you have the Council of the European Union, made up of national ministers. They're not elected by the EU citizens as a body either. The Council decides whether laws pass. Now listen carefully, this is where people got really emotional. Even if Parliament votes no, the Council can still push laws through. If Parliament ejects again, doesn't matter. The Council can do what it wants. So ask yourself this. What kind of democracy has an elected parliament that can't write laws, can't stop laws from passing, and can't hold the unelected commission accountable? All while costing $2.2 billion a year just to operate. The honest answer is obvious. The European Parliament is a political theater, a very expensive one. It exists to make people feel represented because the real power sits with the commission, which writes the laws, and the council, which decides the outcome. That's it. So when people tell me the European Union is run by elected leaders, the ones actually running the system aren't elected at all. And the ones who are elected are serving the commission, not the people. That's not my opinion, by the way. It's straight from the EU's own website. And here's the danger and why I speak out so much. In much of Europe, citizens can no longer decide their own fate unless countries openly defy unelected authority. And that's why you're seeing pushback from places like Hungary, Italy, Slovakia, and others. Not because they're extreme, but because people can feel when their voice no longer matters. In the United States, we still have a window, a narrow one. We can still influence our future. We can still choose who represents us. But make no mistake, we are slipping fast in the same direction. History is very clear about this. Freedom doesn't disappear overnight. You know this. It erodes quietly. While people are distracted, divided, and told, hey, trust the system. That's why I founded Take America Back, not as a slogan, not as a party, but as a foundation to rebuild leadership from the ground up with citizen servant leaders who answer to the people, not bureaucracies, not commissions, and not unelected power. This isn't about left or right, my friend. It's about whether citizens still have a say in the future their children will inherit. If you're interested, then join us. Over 6,000 people already have. Not because they were convinced, but because they recognize themselves in this very moment. And with these videos reaching hundreds of millions of views worldwide, this isn't fringe anymore. It's not quiet and it's not going away. Momentum is building fast. The only real question is this. Do you want to look back one day and say, I saw it happening and I told myself it wasn't real? Or do you want to say, I stepped forward when it still mattered? Look, join us on Patreon. Stand with us while the window is still open, and let's take America back before that choice is taken away from us. The link, you know where it is. It's in the bio.